all living in a simulation. Some alien race out there using our misery for entertainment.
How's the comic book going?
It's languishing unfinished.
You don't have time because you're working your ass off at Kyle's terrible restaurant.
359, Bob. Cutting it close.
You should be grateful that you have a job. Grateful.
Maybe I'll join you. I feel like I'm 14 again, drawing comics and needing a ride home.
Close your eyes for a minute. I want you to visualize what you'll be doing 10 years from now.
Are you serious?
I think you've lost your mind.
No, you're not visualizing it, Bobby. Come on, close your eyes.
I don't close my eyes anymore. I feel like an idiot.
You could roll. I remember.
It's completely useless talent.
Rising Phoenix. Come for the pizzas.
Oh
my God.
Stay for the bowling. Your aliens made you through that strike. It's my destiny, Bobby. I know it is. Imagine being an owner, drawing your comics whenever you want.
I'm in.
Serious? That's what I'm talking about.
Bobby?
My partner Carlos makes this delicious dough with his hands.
Yes.
I got 300 scores before, but nobody ever put my pictures in the papers.
You should enter our grand opening tournament.
You haven't even seen me roll, Huffy. You haven't seen the action on my ball.
Mario put his money in too. He has the right to ask questions. I am his prophecy. I've been helping you.
For months, you've been helping Mario.
You are a paranoid little child.
I don't know what to say, Theo. Leaving a lot of money on the table.
Nice going.
You're going down.
Not your fault.
Well,
If it's not my fault, then it's Tanya's. If it's not Tanya's fault, then it's the aliens.
You need to take care of yourself, Bobby. I am fine. I am a grown woman. These could be the best years of your life. Do you realize that?
Visualize.
This is what I live for, Huffy. Frame 10.
These two geniuses are opening up a pizza parlor / bowling alley. It's classy.
Phoenix, Oregon.
All right. Welcome back to Late Nights with All Access. Myself, Mike Anthony. Right next to me, Nat Boogie.
What's up, guys?
Miss Nat Boogie.
What's up, guys?
Across from me, Mel Finest.
Yo, what up, though? What up, though?
And our special guest, one and only, Jesse Barrero.
Did you say that right? Did he say that right?
Borrego.
Borrego.
I feel like he didn't say that right.
Borrego.
Welcome.
Well, I
welcome.
confused him because I said Borrego earlier.
Yeah, I was like, Borrego.
I'm
He
the
does not
whitest
have those
Mexican
R's.
you'll ever say. I go, man.
I don't know, Mike Anthony.
I like that, man.
Yeah,
I know,
Mike
Mike
Anthony.
Anthony.
I was like, I feel like
Torres is pretty Latino, man. I think you're pretty
How
in
do you
the
say your
zone,
last name?
baby.
Torres.
Torres.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah. Mike Anthony.
Torres
Mike
works.
Anthony.
Doesn't roll his R's.
I like to. I mean, I would love to learn how to speak Spanish. I really would.
Me
I think,
too, I get
I think
paid more.
Spanish is a sexy language.
It is.
If I learn how to speak Spanish, I get paid more. Shit, I'll be straight, man. You get
These
paid
are
bilingual,
facts.
you get paid more.
These are whole facts.
No matter
I
what
made
job
an
it is.
entire living out of being
You know
bilingual.
what I'm saying? It doesn't matter what it is. You get paid more
Yeah.
money by bilingual.
I was telling y'all I just did the third season of Fear the Walking
Yeah,
Dead,
we
right?
talked about it.
So that episode made American television history because it was the first time an entire episode of an American show was completely in Spanish.
Oh wow!
But I couldn't have done that if I hadn't learned from my
You gotta learn your
grandparents.
And
Espanol.
you're born
how
and
to speak
raised
Spanish.
here in San Antonio, right?
Born and raised San Antonio, South Side.
South Side.
Oh,
South
what
Side.
street? Hey, what street on the south side? Don't lie, man. What street?
I was on Fitch.
Oh, okay,
Fitch Street.
okay. I was on South Preston.
Oh my God!
Right there
Yeah.
where the ghost tracks
all
are.
the viewers
You know
right
exactly
there,
what I'm talking about.
we-
You know what I'm talking
We
about.
appreciate you tuning in. Late night. We started a little bit late because of the fact that we're trying to do some new things.
Yep.
We have different angles, and we want to
Interesting
try to do.
angles.
We're trying to change the mics into cordless mics. But again, thank you for tuning in with us. Please like, comment, and share. We have a living legend in my eyes right here from Blood In, Blood Out,
Hey.
Cruise, and that was one of the best movies of all times in my
Classic.
opinion. Classic. There you go. That's the perfect way to describe it.
Blood in, blood out. Hollywood
and you-
Pictures. Taylor Hackford.
You know what I was going to tell you is that we appreciate you being here. taking the
thank
time
you.
to come out
Yep.
here, and also get a little bit more information about you, and talking to you about that. But
Yeah.
in the second part of the
I was
show,
like, yeah, hold on.
in the second half, of the show.
Second half. We got you, baby.
But
Second half.
Right now, everyone is talking about
26.
coronavirus.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very serious
What are your
pandemic.
thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, I think it's most of all, everyone needs to be safe. Err on the side of caution. Pay attention to what's going on, stay informed, but also have common sense. People now are starting to show that common sense, cleaning up after themselves. If you cough, cover your mouth, use sanitizer, clean up after yourself. Whenever it's flu and virus season, we always do that, where you quarantine yourself. We kind of do that anyway. In a situation like this where it's a pandemic, then you certainly should take extra precautions. Right now we've got a skeleton crew here. We're all being real careful with each other and safe. And we're also talking about doing things like sharing more time at home, being there with yourself, social distancing, but also taking care of each other, looking out for our elderly. Even though we're socially distancing from each other, we're checking in on my father and his wife and, the elderly, making sure they have what they need, making sure they don't have to go out into public if they don't have to, and looking out for each other. Right now, also, a lot of kids are not going to be going to school. So, there's a lot of programs, lunch programs that are still giving out food.
I love that they're doing that.
Me too.
I love that they're doing
Me
that.
too.
That is
So, again, we're looking out for each other as society, and I think we're kind of learning that we're all one. So even though we're kind of social distancing each other, we're all going through the same thing. So we need to support each other, I think, as a society. And one of the things we're doing is, I've been promoting a film that I'm opening this weekend, Phoenix, Oregon.
Yeah.
So we've created a view at home option.
Nice.
So if you go to PhoenixOregonMovie.com, then you can order your ticket online and you can
Yeah,
view it at
right
home.
That's so dope.
Yeah, and we want to support a lot of the theaters that are supporting us. A lot of local theaters, about 20 theater chains across the country, we're going to open. And I know a lot of them are having to close, but because we're an independent, and that's a lot of the projects that I love to promote, we're able to do this view at home option. And now a lot of the studios, we were talking about a lot of the studios are doing it now. But we were ahead of the game because we already saw this happening a week ago, and the producers were very concerned about urging people to come to the theater to watch our new film, even though we knew that was necessary. You got to have butts in the seat in order for theaters to allow what they call limited engagement films to survive. But we didn't feel good about that, so we said, hey, look, to the theaters, we said, what if we get a view at home option? They can still buy the tickets from you guys, but we're going to give them that option. And now look, it's all come around, and that's what it's all about. So we're really urging everybody, stay at home, pay attention to what's going on. A lot of stuff is shutting down, but continue to be entertained, continue to celebrate the art that we're all, there's music that we can share. A lot of people are doing, online little performances.
Yeah, the online performances.
Yeah, I got a local art group here in town, Jumpstart Theater, is doing a bunch of art performances online.
That's beautiful.
So everybody's turning it to the curb and sharing that information, which is love. That's the main information we got to share.
It should be love, and it shouldn't be the panicking. Like, a lot of people are panicked right now, getting toilet paper, getting hand sanitizer, and overstocking than just to prepare for themselves. And I like the fact that, shout out to HEB for limiting each customer to 2 items or 4 items, and not because it's
don't feed the panic, man.
Yeah, don't feed it. What are your thoughts, man, Boogie, with the whole coronavirus?
I will say from the jump, I was one that was not sure if I should take it that serious, just because, a lot of people say, the media overhypes it sometimes. Like, that's all you're seeing on Facebook, that's all you're seeing everywhere. So I don't know if this was really like the media overhyping something, or if it was something really that was that serious.
And social media does that too.
Social media,
so you never
everything.
know, especially after all this fake media type of stuff.
Exactly. Yep. So I wasn't quite sure. I think the last couple of weeks I've definitely taken it more serious now, especially especially because I'm gonna admit I'm one of those people that when the NBA stopped, when the NBA got suspended, and the NBA players got infected, and then Tom Hanks got infected, and now Idris Elba. Oh my God, I love Idris Elba. He's infected. So
is he really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, today.
Yeah,
today. So I started taking it more serious, and now and especially like at work, because I am doing the supervisor position now, so I'm in all these additional meetings that I wasn't in before, and I'm seeing all these. I'm part of all these other conversations that we're having to where, and it's crazy how fast it's spreading and how fast it's becoming an even more serious situation, because literally I think it was like on Thursday last week we had a meeting, a broadcast basically at work where they were saying, okay, 50% of us are going work from home.
Oh wow.
And I go today to work, and now it's 100% of us are going work from home. So starting Monday, everyone that works, if we work in Nationwide, we're going work from home. And then you start seeing that someone from USAA got infected, and now there's a doctor in one of the hospitals that's been infected, and it's starting.
Kind of shows you how vulnerable we all are.
Exactly. No matter what it is you do, or So now I am taking it a lot more serious. I did make sure to go stock up on food. I didn't go crazy like some people are. Just I got what I needed, so I wouldn't have to go out in public if I did get sick. I got the toilet paper I needed. I didn't overbuy. I got like 2 little 6-packs of toilet paper. And it was funny because I was watching the press conference today, and I think it was Abbott was like, "Hey, just because you get the coronavirus, you're not gonna need to use any more toilet paper than what you have been. You're not gonna like shit like uncontrollably or something like that. Like I don't understand.
TP's like gold right now.
I don't understand that right now. So it is a more serious situation.
Slanging that TP.
It's
it's like
crazy.
the zombie apocalypse. The Walking Dead. It took me a long time to realize that the Walking Dead weren't the zombies in the story. It was the living. They were the Walking Dead because they stopped being human. And I was like, oh, okay, that's the whole trip of the series. So now it's the same thing. Are you going to act human during this crisis, or are you going to act inhuman? Are you going to think of and acting only for yourself?
Monkey do type of thing.
And then
that's
there's
what
that.
it is. Melvin, what do you think
The
about
mob
the
mentality.
Hey, man, the coronavirus is crazy, man. At my job, it's crazy. So, I work with phones in retail. So the phones are just as dirty as money.
That's the dirtiest thing, guys.
Yeah,
Wipe
so
your
your phones
phone.
are dirty
Please
because
wipe your
people
phone.
get drunk, people
Wonder
drop
I
their
keep
phones.
cleaning and sanitizing.
I've been wiping it down.
I've been doing it naturally.
Yeah, brother, your phones are dirty. They're in your mouth. They're in your kid's mouth. They're in the toilet. They're in shit.
They're in the toilet?
Yeah, people get nasty. So people drop their phones and like, oh yeah, I dropped my phone in the toilet. Bitch,
I would never
fucking
pull
throw
that
me
thing
your phone.
out.
So you got a lot of crazy stuff.
I was thinking more like you touch it.
Nah, man. Phone against your face,
Bottom
so
of
it's
the
getting crazy.
deep
So
sea.
at my job at Sprint, is like we're not. So you got to keep a nice distance from the customer now. They're shutting down. They shut down the Sprint stores inside the mall, which is great. They cut our hours now, so they cut the store hours, which is good.
But you can get the same pay?
Oh, I'm definitely getting the same pay, man. My my stuff is good. I'm not worried about anybody else. So my store is good as far as like we get commission relief. Something we're getting commission relief, so we're definitely good. Sprint's definitely taking care of us on that end. We're still open, unfortunately, but I think by tomorrow or by the end of Friday, we'll probably be shut down just like everybody else. But I'm just saying, as far as like the stuff going on, we're wiping down everything nonstop. No handshaking. They tell us don't handshake with the customers.
Do the Corona dap. What do we do?
Yeah, we did the
Corona
Corona
dap?
dap.
Show,
You know what I'm
right there,
saying?
man.
I'll give you a hug later on.
Corona
Yeah. So we got all that going on right now. Just being cautious, man. People come. We have and the elderly, man. And we get a lot of elderly people that come inside our store. So once they get out, they're already coughing and stuff like that. I'm like, damn. I got an old lady. Her name's Cadillac. She drives Cadillacs.
Her name is Cadillac?
Yeah, her name's Cadillac because all she does is pushes Cadillac. She's 85 years old and she is awesome. She came in there coughing today. I said, now Cadillac,
we need to bring you on the show.
Yeah, that's my lady right there. She don't know how to
Now
work
she's coughing?
Yeah, now she's
now
coughing.
it's coughing.
No. She came in.
He's like, she came in coughing.
Yeah,
He's like,
I was
put her on
hold
the show.
Hey, man, I can lie to you. Cadillac came in coughing now. Y'all don't know if y'all seen my picture earlier, but I had my 2 Lysols right here. I'm ready to spray. I sprayed down Cadillac, man. Cadillac got sprayed down today, man. But that's my lady, Cadillac. Shout out to Cadillac. You know what I'm saying?
That's what we're saying. In a job like that, you just have to have common sense.
You gotta have common sense. Maybe spraying down the chairs. All the chairs are at least spread like a good distance from each other. So I mean retail in general doesn't matter if you're call center or whatever you're doing with involves a lot of people. You're definitely in danger.
I think this is an eye opener for a lot of people to understand. Like washing your hands is really important. washing your hands. If you're sick, stay home.
Stay home.
We go back
It's a
from
big thing.
the last episode we were talking about and how Melvin was sick and I was sick at one point, and we both stayed home. You know.
Yeah, we weren't having a
I came in when I was sick. What the fuck?
You don't. Oh,
I had to do this show.
Yeah, it was a Corona shit.
Yeah, it was a Corona bit.
It was a Corona at that time.
There's no Corona.
That's the whole different sickness.
But like, I think
That's the mad boogie fever you got.
I like that. I like that.
I think
I'm contagious.
cut the show. Cut the show now.
Thank you very much.
That's gonna be the end of the episode.
This is the quickest show we ever had. Thank you guys very much. Shut down.
Quarantine.
I'm trying to tell you, boy.
Right.
I told you.
Quarantinis for everybody.
I'm trying to tell
Yes.
Yes,
Hey,
quarantinis.
but do you want to be?
Open bar.
But do you want to be my quarantine?
Oh.
I laughed so hard when I saw that on.
You know, there's a
Facebook
lot
the
of
other
funny
day.
memes. If you have any funny memes, share it.
yeah, definitely.
Wow,
You did
talking
good with
about
that
blood in,
post.
blood out,
You did
man.
that
Have you
post.
seen the proliferation of blood in, blood out memes in the last 20 years? I mean, incredible stuff.
There is a lot of good
There's
blood
a
in,
lot
blood
of
out
good blood
memes.
in, blood out memes.
What is one of your favorites?
Oh man, I can't even think of one right now because they're just. I think one was
If
like.
y'all have any questions, viewers, please
When
comment
you're-
below for Jesse. Please
when
do.
When you're unemployed in the neighborhood, all you do is I can't remember it now, but when you're unemployed in the neighborhood, it's just that you just sit around the corner throwing signs and posing. And it had me. I think it had me and Benjamin. Throwing the VL, but in a real classic look, right?
Patos locos forever.
And you know all that art. You know, one of the most I talk about true Latino American characters that I've been able to play in American cinema. You know, and one of the
I like that you do that too. Not to cut you off, but like when you look your name up, it says American actor.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that's the whole point. The point is, as I call myself Chicano. I've done that ever since I was young. And I've identified Chicano, which is Mexican American.
Yeah.
But it's definitely an identification of how you feel about your culture when you say Chicano. And then years later, it became a buzzword. It became an idea of urban culture. But to me, I was always proud to say Chicano because that's Mexican American. And we were the first Americans, especially if you say you're Tejano or if you're Chicano from the Southwest, then you got to realize that the Spanish, Tejano, California, Southwestern culture, the cowboy culture that Anglo-America identifies with so strongly was actually created by us in the Southwest. So the combination of the Native American, the Spanish cow culture, the African American culture, all of that mixed to create what was the Southwest culture. So everything from Florida to New Orleans to Texas to California to New Mexico, that's the Southwest. And that was us. That was before any of the Europeans from up north, the British colonies or the Canadians or the French came down. You know, so that's a culture that's rooted in the history of Texas. We just celebrated 300 years in San Antonio.
Yeah.
So I would tell these young Latino kids where the media rhetoric is like, go back to where you came from, you people are rapists, you're ugly, you're this.
Yeah.
So they're hearing this from their leaders, right?
Yeah.
They're having to learn in school, every Texas high school student has to learn Texas history. Well, in Texas history, they excluded the Tejanos. So anybody who fought for Texas independence and was Latino or Mexican got cut out of the history. So it's like there was only Mexicans and Anglos fighting each other, which wasn't true. The Anglos were on the side of the Tejanos and the Californios, all the people in the Southwest who were fighting for independence from Mexico. They wanted to be their own republics. That's the battle that was joined by the Texas defenders, right? This was before it was the Republic of Texas. It was still Mexico. So we were fighting for that independence together. In the history, we got cut out. So now every kid that learns Texas history that's Chicano, that's Mexican American, doesn't see himself. Or he sees himself as the bad guy.
That we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
So what does that do to a kid's psyche? You know what I mean?
Right.
So it was very important for me as I started my career because I was a proud Chicano, to say, well, wait a minute, that story's not really telling the true story. So as an actor in my career, that's what I want to do. I want to tell those little stories that aren't getting told. I want to play those characters that aren't getting portrayed in a good way. And how can I spin that so that now at 57 with a career, with a 35 plus career, I can look at these younger fans of mine, and I can say, "Vatos Locos go to college," and they'll listen to it.
That's what someone just posted in our
know,
comments.
right?
Actually.
Yeah, someone did post that right
My
there.
friend Teresa posted that.
Yeah.
Locos.
Because years ago I
Go to
realized
college, go to Spotify,
how popular that character was.
Yeah.
And I said, well, how can I spin it
Right.
so that it's positive? And I was really promoting the Chicano art. There's over 50 images in that film. And a lot of people don't know that the art was painted in San Antonio, in the West Side,
that's dope.
Oh, yeah.
by a
Nice.
true Chicano artist
and that's
named
where I
Adan
met.
Hernandez.
He was
Yeah.
there with you at the Trader Village.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, because me and Adan promote the art from Blood In, Blood Out.
Yeah.
Most of all, because that's what I'm most proud of. I mean, I call it a true Chicano art collection, and that's something very special because that exemplifies what our culture is.
Yeah.
And that's what these youngsters can get behind. So once they get past that whole idea of what America says they are, then they can get to the true root of who they say they are.
Exactly.
We know now that the whole Latinx generation is changing the way we look at ourselves. They're embracing their Latino-ness, whereas before, our parents, they were told when they were kids not to speak Spanish in school. They were told, that Chicano was a bad word, that it meant pig, that it meant this and that. But a lot of the generation that I learned from, the baby boomers and all that, the hippie generation, they were adopting these, these ways of thinking. They were calling themselves black. They were calling themselves Chicanos. They were calling themselves first Americans, Native Americans instead of Indians. So I think that everybody at that point, those are the philosophies that I learned from. So when I became a young actor in my 20s, I said, well, I'm going to live that in my career.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to start to whitewash myself, change my name to Smith, start to, get rid of my accent, which I did naturally because I'm an American. So I speak the way that I speak, pero hablo en español también.
There you
Te
go.
tiro el calor. And if you want me to go barrio with it, ese gato se rayó con la jefita allá en el hueso, So, which is we code ourselves anyway,
Yeah,
right? We're always
exactly.
talking in code. So,
That is true.
yeah, so for me, it was easy to do.
Later on,
We-
we'll talk about the 20s.
We have yeah
know it.
we have a lot
Get it
of
before Blood In, Blood Out.
we have a lot of comments right now, and some people
Love,
say,
baby.
Marissa says, yes, Jesse, yes. Please tell him I said hello, miss and love him. You have AJ Hernandez is watching. You have Abel says, I remember an episode of Married with Children with Jesse in it.
Shout out to Question.
I actually
Question
choreographed that
commented.
episode.
Question said that you are an icon. So
You
Good
are
memory.
you are an icon. It's a great thing to know that you've done so much in art and film, and you still represent San Antonio to the fullest.
Well, again,
Because
for
most
me,
people they
quality,
get that
not
fame,
quantity.
they want to leave and forget, but you stayed.
Yeah,
Just like
and I think
Jesse
the
James
enormous
Leija,
pressure
too.
of the enormous pressure of whatever system you're working in.
Uh-huh.
Like for me, the entertainment industry. There was a lot of pressure, especially early in my careers and in the 90s, to kind of be successful by continuing to play the same characters. And to me, what I saw in series television, I hate to say it, but it was always the Latino was the drug dealer, he was the bad guy,
That
or
is
he
true.
or he was the
we
poor,
talked about-
he was
we
the
talked
poor
about it.
immigrant,
And
and
same
then,
thing with the black culture too. They
Yes.
would put
And
them
we talked about it. We talked about
yeah.
And it wasn't until black producers, black writers got the chance to start doing their own thing. Yeah, Debbie Allen.
Yep, Debbie
When I
Allen
met
too.
Debbie was already producing Fame, but she was starting to direct.
There
She
we
was
go.
starting to direct.
Talk about Fame
So
a
I was
little bit.
already seeing in the mid '80s that move towards black artists grabbing hold of their own image and being able to control it. And now you see 30 years later the fact that, you look back at the career of Debbie and the stuff she's produced, Amistad. You look back at her the TV show about the college that she had, You know, that was the spin-off of the Cosby Show. And you see all the things that she's done. Was that it? Was it
different colors?
No, was it different colors? Yeah, that was Debbie. That was, you know.
I told you to do my research.
Yeah. So you know,
I did my research.
but I was there. I was there at the beginning when she was just starting all of
Yes.
that.
See,
And so I got to see a lot of the development. I knew that as Latinos we could do the same thing, you know. So hopefully that's happening now. You know, we're more in control of our image.
You know
we're
what?
more in control of what we say.
One of the things is that what I see as a community leader is being able to share and information for people that don't know, and so that they can learn a little bit more. And I think that what you're doing, again, just to piggyback from what I was saying, is you being part of the community still, and signing autographs, taking pictures, being humble, and you know, all about that. Coming to late nights with All Access, coming meeting us.
It's getting
I know,
crazier.
it's
The guest list
Well, you know,
crazier and crazier.
we talked about you know, supporting each other as Latino Latino artists. So
When I
you
first-
told me about your show.
Yeah, when I first met him, he was like, "Come on, get my number, let's just do this." And I was like, "Really?" I was like, "He's like, yeah, let's do it." And I told, we have a group chat, and I told him, I said, "Hey, we're gonna get him on the show," and it's great to
We
have
talk
him.
about, you know, Adrian here from Smoke, allowing you to do it here. That's supporting
Village.
each other. you know?
Yeah, Triller is a flea market, and he does he was there, you know, signing autographs. Him and
that's dope.
the other guy, what's
Yeah,
his name?
we promote, Traders Village has been real supportive of my career over the
Yeah.
years. And I actually used to have a store there called Crazy Vatos. That was a
nice.
combination of me and my partner, Danny De La Paz, Puppet from American Me.
Okay.
And we've been friends for many years. We did theater together, and we started doing these showings together because we kind of had similar fans. So we decided to create a Chicano brand, Crazy Vatos. And so for a while we had a store here on Presa. on
Yeah,
South
Presa, baby. You already know. Right
And,
on those tracks, baby.
And then we were over at Traders Village for a while. And so Traders has always been really supportive of that. So I've always committed to, when they invite me down there, to come down there. And me and Adan, since we're both in town, Adan Hernandez, like I said, is the artist who did the paintings for Blood In, Blood Out.
Yeah.
He was also, do you remember the gallery scene where I'm having the big show and the Vatos Locos show up acting crazy?
Yep.
Brilliantly played by Valente Rodriguez and Raymond Cruz. The Chewy and Frank.
Yeah, but yeah.
Well, Valente went on to become Ernie in the George Lopez show.
Oh,
And, you know,
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
And
that
then
is
Raymond
right.
Cruz has had
Yes.
an illustrious career, everything from Under Siege to Training Day to Breaking Bad.
Training Day, yeah.
Raymond
He doing a lot of
Cruz,
stuff. He's doing a
brilliant
lot of
actor.
good- a lot of good stuff.
So you know, but those two guys, brilliant actors, and in that scene, they go, "Hey, we brought Gilbert with us." And so if you see Gilbert, who's outside in glasses, going, "Hey, Crucito,
Yep.
congratulations!
Crucito.
Come outside and give me an abrazo. Check out my carrucha." So that's actually the real artist who painted all the paintings.
Oh, that's dope.
And I
He
like
was
the
there
fact,
taking
and I
care
like
of
the
his
fact
art.
that I like
So
the
they
fact
put him-
that
It was his cameo,
yeah,
baby.
Yeah.
He-
I like
he
that.
does that, and like when I met you, you were just like, "This is the guy that did the artwork." This is like, and telling people like, "Hey, he's the one who put it all together."
Well, you gotta give
And
you
that's
gotta
great.
give due, you know,
Yeah.
Credit
where
where
it's
it's
due.
due.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta give people their due, especially because, to me, it's always a collaborative effort. My career and all the successful characters that I played were because all of the people behind the scenes, from the writer to the directors to the producers to all of the production people, makeup, hair, wardrobe, you know, props, all those hardworking people. One of the first things I realized, because I came from the theater.
Yeah.
I came from Chicano theater here in the West Side and the South Side, doing it in high schools and Parks and Rec.
What high school did you go to?
I went to Harlandale High School.
Oh, that's what he was saying.
But we used to
yeah.
do plays, one-act plays at the Parks and Rec. Norm Oil was my
Okay.
Park and Rec. So
Okay.
we would have little one-act plays. So since I was already doing it in school, I started writing our own little plays. Me and my brother would do our own productions, and then we'd win, and we'd go to district, citywide, and we'd compete against other parts of the city. So I was already, you know, doing it, having fun doing it. But one of the things that to me was important was always, how do I give back?
Yes.
That's
So
important.
as I got some sort of notoriety, success, whatever, and a lot of it was in school. I was like, well, how can I give that back? You know, part of that was staying educated. You know, so one of the first things I did was look around and go, okay, once I graduate, what am I going to do? This is high school drama, but what am I going to do? And Incarnate Word College had a great theater program. So at that time, the University of Incarnate Word was Incarnate Word College. And so I got in, and that's where I got into college. And so that's why, to me, it's a higher education is very important. Because it gave me a safe place to develop my talent as an actor while at the same time getting an education. So whenever kids ask me, hey, what am I going to do? I got an agent. I want to do this and that. I go, you know what? Higher education is important. And you always, you need something to fall back on.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're studying theater in a higher education setting, then you've got a safe place where you can work things out. Not only that, you're learning the best techniques. You're learning the history of theater. You're learning all the things that it's going to take. And I tell kids the same thing when they're learning film. Doing is important.
Right.
You know, my brother James Borrego, who's a producer at UTSA, you know, he's a graduate of the UT Film School in Austin, but he's also a graduate of the RTF program at SAC.
Nice.
So now it's come full round, and he's the new film teacher at SAC.
That's beautiful.
But one of the things that he teaches is constructivism, which is, it's better in that situation for kids to learn by doing.
Yeah.
You know? But when you're doing, it's dangerous because you're out there, and how do you make a living?
Sure.
And it's very tough in the entertainment industry.
It is. It is. You know, it's so crazy because when we first started this broadcast, Melvin, go ahead. I like how Melvin tells it. Like, how do we start the broadcast?
Oh shit, we started in the goddamn. It looked like a porno scene, man. So it was like it looked like we were in a college dorm.
That's what you like?
No, not that.
That's what you like, really?
I always do that. I always say that. Everybody's always throwing off.
What the fuck?
I always do that.
Right.
Everybody throws it. I always do that.
Cut, edit. Let's do this now.
Nah, all right, here we go. I'm just playing with you. No, on the real thing, we always wear a white table, man. Look like we're in a college dorm. Just starting off with a whiteboard in the back. But if you look at the growth from the scene 1 to scene now, you'll definitely see a lot of improvement and you know, growth from Boogie, from my guys, myself, as far as like us being on cue, us doing the angles, you being here with the.
I was impressed when I saw y'all set it all up. When I first got here, I said, what are they going to do? They're going to do a little. I thought you guys were going to just take it with the phone.
Nah, we started off literally.
Steve showed up, started setting up stuff.
Steven, our producer, shout out
I saw you guys running cable. I saw Nat Boogie running cable.
Yeah, bro. We do it all, man. People don't get to see the behind the scenes stuff. We started off, we had a bow in the middle. We didn't know about topics.
That's what I'm talking about.
But we
raw and dirty, man.
It was crazy because I think a lot of people they short themselves before they actually start, you know, and because of the fact that they're afraid to fail forward, and so when Steven and I were putting this together like 2 to 3 years ago, it was having the right people, and Nat Boogie and Mel Finest are the right people to be part of this. And when we started doing it, you just start to grow, and it's the consistency. And
it's a collaborative effort,
and the viewers too, for watching and being entertained and watching us all talk and have different special guests and everything like that. And especially right now, the time, I think that people need to have something like this,
feel connected,
because of the fact that
feel connected, man.
What's going on in the world right now. You know, before we go on a break, again, if you have any comments on the coronavirus, share them so that we can read them, so that we can, you know, continue.
The main thing is err on the side of caution.
Yes.
Listen to what everybody's saying. Look out for each other. Be safe. Be healthy. And you know what? Stay at home. Entertain yourselves, man. I saw a great Facebook post where it said things that are not shut down. Spending time with your family. Singing. Music. Dancing,
reading, man.
Yes, reading.
Board games,
those things aren't closed. Those things are not shut down.
Playing puzzles.
One of the things we're doing is, like I said, Phoenix, Oregon is my new film. I'm so proud of this character because, again, I hold out for these positive Latino characters. And now this film comes out on the weekend where everything's being quarantined. So I tell everybody, hey, man, we're independent. Right. So go to PhoenixOregonMovie.com and view that movie at home.
So
it's like going to the movies.
Before we
that's what it's all about.
We're going to talk about that, the second part. What were you going to say real quick?
No, there were just a couple things I wanted to touch on about the coronavirus really quick. Because it hurts to see, because I mean, at the same time, I understand, like, from a health perspective, how a lot of this, you know, quarantine and being limited to so many people in a place and social distancing, I understand how it what it's there for, but at the same time, I'm also seeing how a lot of my friends are being affected in a negative way, as far as people that work in the service industry, you know, bartenders, servers, you know, whatever
DJs,
it is, whatever,
yeah.
you know, especially the DJs, and even people that, you know, own small businesses or that work for a small business, that they just don't have the funds to keep paying their people at a time like this.
They can't
or,
afford to stay
you know,
closed
anything
2-3
like that
weeks.
when they're trying to take some time
It's
off.
going to be rough on them, yeah.
So I just wanted to make it a point to let everybody know that there are some, if you are affected by your job or because of this from your job, there is some stuff for unemployment. You can always go to I forgot what the website is, but just search unemployment for Texas. There's actually some stuff for people that are being affected by coronavirus, that are being unemployed due to coronavirus or just can't work. So you do have that option. Please always look into that. There was the mayor governor conference today, and they did talk about the 50 people limit. When as I do understand and I do agree that we do need to limit social gatherings, I do also understand how it is affecting our people in the bar industry. So apparently restaurants and bars and some other places are actually not part of this 50 people thing as of now. So tomorrow is St. Patrick's Day. I'm sure at the end of the show we'll talk about if you have a St. Patrick's Day event, let us know, please. We'll still talk about it. Because I do want to still, as we should stay home and not, you know, social distance ourselves. I also want to help promote and, you know, help the business. I want to help my people's businesses at the same time. So it's just like.
No, you're right. Again, the whole like my opinion on this, and I've said this on my Facebook page. I've said this plenty of times. If you're sick, stay home. That's it. If you're sick, stay home. If you've been in contact with someone that's sick, stay home until 3 to 5 days until you know that you don't have any symptoms, and educate yourself on the symptoms between the coronavirus and the flu and other diseases out there. And again, wash your hands.
If you're gonna be out, take those precautions, guys. Please wash your hands. Don't be. We're not even shaking hands right now. We're not doing any of that right now. We're doing the coronavirus fist bump. I think is what you're calling it.
Bumping a chicken wing or chicken.
Just be mindful when you're out, because people are still gonna go out. Come on, it's San Antonio. Like yesterday was the last Sunday Fun Day in my terms. I was like, it's the last chance I'm gonna go to Sunday Fun Day. I went out and I did Sunday Fun Day, but you have to take your precautions because people are still gonna go out.
And it also doesn't mean don't get fresh air. Fresh air is healthy.
Yes, it is.
And there's some beautiful days out there. But you know, it means
there's
get
a lot
fresh
of
air.
there's a lot of conspiracies with this too as well, with the coronavirus. And I don't want to go way into it, but I've seen so many people share about the CEOs of big corporations know about this, and you have to follow the money. And I think there's some truth behind it, but I also think that if we as a community, or even if the government was just do a complete shutdown, common sense to me, logic thinking, is you shut down the whole entire country. No one pays bills. No one's be penalty for it. Everyone's on the same page. No work, no paying bills. Everyone stay home. That's it. 3 to 4 weeks. Whoever's sick, go get healthy. Get better. Then you just open up again. And then everything goes right back into play to where no one's penalized and worried about what do I do because I don't have a job right now and I don't have this money, because not everyone has a residual income.
Exactly.
Everyone has residual debt, but not residual income.
That's very true.
So, again, share your comments below, everything like that. We appreciate you tuning in. We have our special guest right now, and we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about Phoenix, Oregon, the new movie. Get more information on Jesse, why he started, you know, fame. Talk about his acting career.
Watch that at home. YouTube video. All the episodes are on YouTube.
So make sure to tune in, and we'll be right back with you guys.
There's something we all need to know if you want to keep that healthy glow. Remind your friends in courteous terms. Let's spread the word and not the germs. Wash your hands, it's the right thing to do. It's easy when you only have to. Wash your hands, keep them clean, oh yeah. Hey, hey, wash your hands. breaks out, call the doctor, that's what you do. The doc will take good care of you, and you'll feel better too. Wash your hands and make your mother proud, and maybe you can join the popular crowd. Wash your hands like 50 times a day, oh yeah. Hey, hey, wash your hands. Wash your hands.
Here at Thomas J. Henry, our sole focus, day in, day out, for every case, for every trial, is to help our clients to rebuild their lives, to put the pieces back together. Thomas J. Henry, here for you, 24/7, nights and weekends.
Here we go.
Okay, there you have it. You had some commercials that Steven, our producer. Shout out to Steven for always making sure
Thanks,
our
Steven.
set is good. He is putting some coronavirus song, I think, right, Steven? That was the
Thomas
Wash
J.
Your
Henry
Hands.
shouldn't have shaken her hand right now.
I know,
Wash
Thomas
your
J.
hands.
Henry shaking the
No
hand.
shaking hands right now, Thomas.
And Thomas J. Henry's commercial too as well. Shout out to Thomas J.
I wonder why he
Henry.
got in there. I don't know how he got in there.
I don't
Somehow,
know.
man, that
Somehow,
guy's in
some
there.
way,
Somehow,
he
some
made
way,
it in
that
there.
guy's in there. I don't know how that guy got in there.
In the barrio, whenever we want to, cap on each other, go, hey, bañate. That means take a bath.
Take a bath.
It's kind of like
So during the break, we're right now looking over the comments, and one of the comments that our viewers, AJ Hernandez, was asking, how is it working with Benjamin Bratt? Again for the viewers that are tuning in.
That's my carnal.
That's what I was looking at, but I
You're
don't think
best
so.
known for Blood In, Blood Out. Would you say that?
It depends. We were talking about this
Con Air,
because
Blood In, Blood Out,
in
Fame.
Europe, I'm more known for Fame.
Fame, okay.
I was a television star before Blood In, Blood Out. So I was on a TV show called Fame.
Fame, yeah, Fame.
Back in the 80s. Tell him, baby.
All right,
Dude,
tell him.
Wait, before you go in there,
Let him tell him about it. His own show.
answer if you can.
Okay.
How was it working?
But Blood In, Blood Out was huge.
Huge, yes.
It became a cult classic.
So Damon
and,
Chapa, Benjamin Bratt, how is it working with them?
Well, first of all, it's probably one of my favorite characters that I've ever played, because a lot of people ask me what did I like the most about it, and I said, well, to me, that character was a gift to my people, because I could truly, exemplify the Chicano culture, but also put in the nuances of who we are, how we talk in code. But also I wanted to represent a Chicano artist, because that's the people I grew up with. My father was a musician, and the racism, the societal pressure to not be who they were in terms of their music and their art. My father felt that. A lot of the people, as an actor, I was dealing with that. So I was going to be able to portray all that in the Cruz character, and at the same time celebrate and exemplify Chicano art. So it was truly, to me, a well-rounded character that I could get behind. And Taylor Hackford, who produced La Bamba, he won an Academy Award for Officer and a Gentleman. He was the director of Blood In, Blood Out. So I was working with a top-notch director, Taylor Hackford, and he really loved the Chicano culture. He was bilingual himself, having lived many years in Colombia, and he got together with Jimmy Santiago Baca, the Chicano writer who executive produced it and wrote the film. And they came to me, and they knew me from the auditions of La Bamba, and he came to me.
La Bamba.
Yeah, and beautiful film.
That is a beautiful film.
Yeah. And so they came to me and they said, hey, we're making this other Chicano film, and you need to be in it, and you need to help us cast this. You need to help us find these other Vatos Locos. So I was in from the beginning. I didn't audition. Yeah, they invited me. And then we went out looking for the Vatos Locos. And I said, look, here's what I'm going to do. They need to be authentic. So when they come in, I'm going to throw them. I'm going to throw Chicano slang at them. I'm going to throw them Vato stuff. I'm going to see if they can hang. And Benjamin grew up in the Mission District in San Francisco, him and his brother, Peter Bratt. And they grew up with the first Chicano car clubs in the Bay Area, and so these were their heroes in the neighborhood. Right. So they knew the culture. So when Ben came in, he already had Paco down, you know.
Oh, nice.
So I told Taylor, I said, Taylor, this is Paco. That's the dude. Paco. He's going to be able to give you the vato in the beginning and then be the cop at the end. Nice. Because, you know, he's pound for pound one of the finest Latino actors of our time. If you ever get a chance, check out a film called La Mission. It's a film that his brother wrote and directed.
Is it on Netflix? That's not on Netflix.
It might be.
It's
on
I think
Netflix.
I've seen it.
It's another independent film,
yes,
and I play his best friend in it. But that's where Benjamin really shines as the lead in that film, La Mission.
And he
produced it. Yeah.
Yep.
But,
I seen it.
But you know, Paco was that seed of that character in La Mission. But again, him also being very proud Latino. He's actually Peruvian. His mother is from Lima, Peru. But she raised them in the Mission District, and he's classically trained. You know, he studied in art school there in San Francisco, and he's been in the film and television industry for a while. So for me, before Law and Order, we did Blood In, Blood Out, but you knew right away that he was going to be a star. So for me, Benjamin, like I said, if you get a chance, check out La Mission.
Do you still keep in contact with the guys from Blood In, Blood Out and do reunions and stuff like that?
We just, in 2017, we had our 25th anniversary.
Right? Yeah.
And we had, it was me, Benjamin wasn't there, I'm sorry. It was me, Victor Rivers, another great actor who played Magic, Carlos Carrasco, who played Popeye, Ray Oriel, who played Spider, Raymond Cruz, Chewy, Valente Rodriguez, Frankie, Taylor Hackford, the director, was there. The producer-director was there. So it was a great little gathering. You know, Adan Hernandez, the artist, came up from San Antonio to LA. And we had a screening. We had over 3,000 people in the middle of LA.
What's your favorite
in the summer of 2017
on the movie?
My favorite has to be I've always called...
Or your top three.
I've always called Jimmy Santiago Baca, who wrote it. I've always called him the Chicano Shakespeare. Again, he wins literary awards like candy. Right now, he's getting ready to publish, you know, a couple of novels, 4 big compilations. He's winning all these literary awards. He's so well known as an incredible writer, but people a lot of times don't realize that as a screenwriter, Blood In, Blood Out, and as an executive producer of the film, that was his baby. You know, so whenever I talk about the lingo and the code, and you know, I did a lot of ad-libbing, but all of it was based off of Jimmy's script. You know, Jimmy Santiago's script, Blood In, Blood Out. And so one of my favorite lines of Crucitos, out of all of them, has to be the end, you know, where I'm telling Benjamin, hey man, this isn't who we are, that's who we are. Correct. 4 vatos locos, full of carnalismo, trying to survive in a war zone, you know? And then I go into that classic speech, because we're from East Los, ese. We come out chased by hounds, wearing a pinche rabbit's foot for luck.
I need to watch this again. I haven't seen it.
And you know, that's Chicano Shakespeare
I need to
right
watch
there.
this again.
And you know, that ending, to tell you a little bit of trivia, that wasn't the original ending.
No? I think there's an alternate ending, yeah.
The original ending, because everybody asks about part 2. Originally, Hollywood Pictures, they were going to make a 2-parter because it was going to be like The Godfather, Godfather 1, Godfather 2.
They should have done that.
So, well, what happened was the LA riots happened before we were able to release. So that year, the LA riots happened, LA was burned to the ground. All the studios got very, kind of like what's happening now, where the releases of films and entertainment have been disrupted. So at that point, Hollywood Pictures decided they didn't want to release a film that was so controversial, and they decided they were going to go straight to VHS, which is kind of like death for any film. At that point, Taylor said, hey, I'm Academy Award-winning Taylor Hackford. I backed this film. And so at that point, Jeffrey Katzenberg, who was the producer at Disney at that time, who was backing us up, went to bat for us, and we had to change the title. And that's why it was released in the theaters as Bound by Honor. Do you ever see the DVD and it says Blood In, Blood Out, but right at the bottom it says Bound by Honor?
Yeah.
It's
What? That's
because
crazy. I forgot
it was
I had seen that
released in the
before.
theater as Bound by Honor, so it's got two
Dang.
names.
Yeah.
There's movie posters out there.
Yeah,
with
I was
Bound by
always
Honor.
wondering why that
Yeah.
was.
Interesting. I've
Now
seen
we
that
know.
before.
Theatrically, it was released as Bound by Honor, but they did that so that people wouldn't know it was the same movie and they wouldn't go. So
Are
once
you
they didn't go,
surprised- are
it
you-
kind of like got squashed. Then when it went to video, they changed the name back, and that's when it blew up.
Are you surprised that people love that movie? Like, was that a surprise when you made the movie? Like the thought process of making it and everything. Did you be like, yeah, this is gonna be a
We were
classic?
supposed to win awards.
Yeah.
We were supposed to win awards. Remember who Taylor Hackford is? Academy Award winning. Against All Odds. Officer and a Gentleman. When We Were Kings, the documentary about the Ali Foreman fight. I mean, Taylor, when you look at his body of work, Dolores Claiborne, when you look at his body of work, that is, top level Hollywood.
Yeah.
Hollywood Pictures, at that time, Hollywood Pictures, which is the adult arm of Disney, was the only studio that was making money. So they knew what they were doing. So these were the guys that were making the movie. Then I met Jimmy Santiago Baca. So I knew the script wasn't going to be crappy, Then I started meeting the actors.
Do you
Who
ever
was the
think
first
about- do
actor?
you ever-
It was
do
me.
you
So
ever
I
think-
already knew the movie was going to be good. You know what I'm saying? No, but you
No,
know what
yeah.
I'm saying? You got to have faith in your team. And I saw the
Exactly.
team
I
and I,
like
went,
that. Faith in your team.
oh my God,
Faith
we
in
are
the
going to
team.
win awards. And then I saw the Chicano art when they chose Adan, and I said to myself, oh my God, we are going to break boundaries. We're going to set the tone. And we kind of did, because in the next 10 to 20 years, there was so many knockoffs of the Blood In, Blood Out idea. Yeah. There was so many knockoffs.
That's true.
It kind of started a wave of straight to DVD type of Chicano gangster films, but that was the beginning of it.
Shots fired.
Yeah, shots fired, So there was all that. There was all that going on.
You have someone saying that they remember meeting you at the Club Luna on Hildebrand.
Woo,
When the
there it
Spurs
is.
were in the finals 03. You had a beer, and instead of knowing you from the movie, I remember you dancing with Christina Applegate on the roof.
Oh, yeah. Well, you remember, I
Fame?
got started on Fame, so I was a dancer.
Tell them about Fame, bro. Tell them about Fame.
I was a big time, started as a
Janet Jackson.
dancer.
What was Fame?
I'm gonna need you to bust the move
So
right
what
now.
was, what was Fame?
I'm 57. The moves I bust now, bust me now. Still do a twirl.
I like that.
I like that. I'm gonna take that.
Say
that again. The moves
last
that
year.
bust me.
Moves I
The
bust,
moves I
bust
bust,
me.
yeah. The moves I bust me. No, that ain't true. A couple
That
of years
is
ago,
funny.
the San Antonio Film Festival gave me a legacy award, right? And so the interviews, they were asking me like, well, what does that mean, legacy? And I said, I don't know what it means, but I can still shake a legacy. So
There you
I still
go.
dance, man.
Yeah, he's
smooth.
over there doing spins
The
and
crucito,
everything.
they got to do the crucito dance from the movie. You remember that? You
Uh-huh.
remember the crucito dance from the
Nope.
You don't remember?
Do it
Show
again.
me.
And remember when the
No,
girl at the
show me, man.
party, I was like,
Someone posted.
searching for my
Yeah, there you go.
Shout out to Daniel, because when we announced that you were gonna be on the show, there's a GIF. There's an actual GIF or GIF. I don't know what the fuck you call it.
GIF
of you
or
doing
GIF
that
or
dance.
something like that.
But when we announced that you were gonna be on the
Yeah.
show, shout out to my boy Daniel. He posted that GIF of you doing
That's
that
it.
dance,
The
and I
crucito.
laughed
It's
so
famous.
hard.
It's a famous dance. But I
I
have
can
to
find
give
it.
credit to my boys because that was actually some of the best. Being on Fame, I hung
Exactly,
out with
Fame.
some of the best club dancers.
Telling you, man.
Because
Killing
that's where we would learn our stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Really, all the moves that Janet and Michael learned were from some of the best club dancers in LA and New York at that time. So I was a big club guy because that's where I learned. Here in San Antonio, I was a big club dancer. And then when I started, training myself, I danced with the Incarnate Word College Ballet Company. And that taught me a lot of the technique that I would later on use to get the audition for Fame. Because I had to sing and dance for the audition. It was one of the first American Idol type of auditions in the history of the entertainment industry, where people could just come in off the street, and at that time, I didn't have a manager and agent. I was a struggling acting student at the California Institute of the Arts.
How'd you
which
know
is where
you
I
wanted
went
to be
after
an
that.
actor though? Like, what made you say, you know what?
That's interesting because I'm always asked that question, and realistically, at the time that I was doing it as a young actor, I didn't think I could make a living at it, because remember, in the 70s, in the late 70s, there weren't too many Latinos in American television. You know, if there were, then they were, like I said, you know, Hill Street Blues. He was a bad guy, or he was this. Eric Estrada from Chips. That was probably the biggest Mexican American type of character I saw, or Spanish television, which my grandparents watched Spanish. So, but that was Mexico. You know, they were Mexican actors. So I didn't really see myself in any of those. So I didn't know I could make a living as an actor. I did it because, like I said, we were doing one-act plays at Parks and Rec. I was doing it in school, in the drama club. I was performing at clubs. I wasn't really thinking of it as a career. When I got into college and I started training, it was for the theater. But again, I wasn't really studying Chicano theater. We were learning O'Neill, Ibsen, Shakespeare.
Yeah.
So I was being Chicano in these productions, trying to be true to who I was, but I wasn't learning and doing my culture. So I think at that point, I didn't think that I could really. I was doing it because I loved it.
And how long have you been in the art of film and acting?
Well, I've been performing since I was 5 years old.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So this is to get back to the question of how did I know I was going to be an actor. So whenever I'm asked that question, I remember when I was 5 years old, and the teacher said, "We're going to play make believe, right? We're going to play circus." And all the boys wanted to be clowns, right? Because the clowns act crazy, act stupid, right? So all the boys were like, well, we're going to be clowns. And the teacher started going down the line. You know, Natalie, you're going to be, you're going to be the trapeze girl, and you're going to be a clown, and you're going to be the. And so all the guys were being clowns, and she came to me, and she goes, Jesse, you're going to be a lion. And I remember this clearly. Instead of saying in my head, I want to be a clown, I said to myself, okay, I'm going to be the best damn lion in the circus.
There you go.
And I remember that. It's weird because years later I think to myself, how did I know
You'll be a lion?
at that point that I could do it? Know that I could be anything.
Yeah.
If she had
That's
said
true.
be a tree, I would have been the best tree.
Yeah, man.
But that's when you know that this is what you like to do. And so I just kept building on that thing, and I was always the kid that the teacher would say,
Keep on sharing, people. Keep on sharing.
And so through
We appreciate the
elementary
love and
school,
support.
me and my sister were the performing kids in elementary school. First grade, second grade, third grade, fourth. We did, every year we would do that famous movie, Mary Poppins.
Okay.
You know. So we were little kids, and my
I
sister
can't
was
see
Mary
this.
Poppins, and I was Bert. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
There you go, baby.
Yeah,
Baby, there you go.
If you say it loud enough, you'll always sound precocious. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. I knew all the songs, but think about it.
That's what they're saying.
How old are you? How old are you in elementary school? 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, man.
You know, kids aren't unless you're. So I was a little theater kid. But without that type of support, I didn't have a stage mom. My family didn't even know that this is what I did. So to me, it was like, how did I keep that going? Especially in the barrio. You know, in the barrio, as you get older, right away, there's the macho peer pressure.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this guy. He likes to sing and dance.
Right.
Oh, look at him. He must be a sissy.
Right.
You know what I mean? All of a sudden, that separation starts to happen.
Yeah.
And I was a sports kid, too, because my family members... even though they were all artists as well, my sister was triple letter sports. She played volleyball, softball, all through school. My brother the same way, he was varsity basketball. But my talent wasn't in sports. My talent was in performance. And I just kept building on that. And the further I got pushed as an outsider in these social circles, the more it became like, well, then this is who I am, you know. And I just got into those groups of people and those groups of kids that would always support that thing. And before you knew it, I was a drama geek in high school. You know, before you knew it, I was the kid that the teachers would come to MC the talent shows at school. Before you knew it, I was the
me
kid,
right now.
exactly, the kid that got chosen to do the announcements in the morning. So little by little, I saw that who I was valuable, and that just built up my self-confidence. And every time I wanted to learn something, like the latest dance, I was going to learn the latest dance. You know, when disco came
you got
out,
moves,
I
man.
was going to learn
You got moves.
Yeah, and all along the way, there was always people that were putting that stick and that carrot for me. My sister, Marina, was a big influence because she was really the big performer. You know, she was, you know, a modern dancer. She was a big-time club dancer. She was triple letter sports. She was honor in school. She was the most popular in high school. So she was everything that I wasn't, but I was her partner. So she would always feed me that energy. She would teach me the latest dances. She would tell me the latest stuff. And I just kept, you know, I just kept swallowing all of that wonderful energy. My grandmother was a big influence. I told you my father was an accordion player, a contemporary of Flaco Jimenez. Everybody knows Flaco Jimenez, winning Grammys.
Yes.
Well, Flaco's from the South Side. I grew up watching my father and Flaco's bands play with each other in these local dances. So when Flaco started winning all his Grammys, I was like, I know that guy. That's my father's music.
Yeah.
You know, but my father didn't achieve the notoriety that he did,
Yeah.
but I saw that culture in me. So to me, I was like, years later, my grandmother would teach me all the songs that she taught my dad. And so whenever I would listen, when my father wasn't around, which he wasn't for a lot of my youth, I had an album of his music that I would play a lot just to keep in touch with him. And I would learn these songs, and I'd go to her, and I'd say, what does this song mean? I don't know what it means. And she would teach me the words in Spanish. And so I had all these songs of my father's. When I did the open audition for Fame, I said to myself, how am I going to set myself apart from everybody? When we were doing the singing audition, I said, I'm going to sing one of my father's songs.
Nice.
And I sang, and I went up there and I started
Sing
singing
for
in
me right now.
Spanish.
Sing for me right now.
I went up there, and the people that were auditioning for Fame, they'd been listening to all these Broadway hits.
She wants you to sing.
And so I just
He's warming up.
I'm waiting.
He's warming
Yeah,
up.
nice warming up. He's gonna do it.
Si arrastré por este mundo la vergüenza de haber sido el dolor de ya no ser. Bajo el ala del sombrero, cuántas veces embosada, una lágrima asomada, ya no pude contener. Oh, by the way, I can sing in English too. With the morning comes the dawning of a day. So the people from Fame were like, thank you very much. Here's a number. Come back for the dancing audition.
Yay!
So I was like,
They killed it.
but at the
Killed
same
it.
time, I was saying, look,
Fire.
I'm proud of my culture.
Right.
I'm proud of who I am. So my character, Jesse, wound up being Mexican, you know? A lot of people thought he was Puerto Rican because the School of Performing Arts is in New York. But my character was actually Mexican from Juarez because of the fact that I was bilingual and I'd shown them how proud I was of my culture. But I just kept doing this throughout my career and building on that, and one, exemplifying the culture, but also creating, I believe, memorable characters that have survived the test of time. You know, people
I like
ask
that.
me, you know, when Blood In, Blood Out was being, you know, was being kind of being squashed, and I knew that it was going to come out as Bound by Honor. We'd been promoting it as Blood In, Blood Out for 3 years, so I kind of knew that it wasn't going to be very popular in the theaters at that time. But I also knew the passion that we had all put in it. You know, the Chicano art, the writing, Jimmy Baca, the production itself.
People talk about it till this day, though.
Ooh.
You know, it's a
And and I
classic.
tell people, I
It's a
go, you got
classic.
to understand that Taylor Hackford is a brilliant director.
Yeah.
Because he directed an incredible narrative. And you're talking
One of my
about,
favorite movies of all time. So.
Yeah, and you know, it stands the test of time. So I knew that all that was in there. I never realized that it was going to take. I thought that it would happen sooner, you know.
Yeah.
But I think that things happen when they happen, and I think that a lot of the work that I've done didn't actually hit at the time that I did it. You know, there are 3 films that I did at that time back to back. I did Blood In, Blood Out. I did the feminist version of The Gang Life, which was Mi Vida Loca, directed by Allison Anders. Did you ever see that one?
The veins are big.
My Crazy Life?
And they had the veins, they had the
Yeah, Mousy,
tackies.
yeah. And then I did a film called I Like It Like That.
I Like
Did you
It
ever
Like
see
That.
that one?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I Like It Like That was the first time a woman of color, Darnell Martin, was directing a major studio film, Columbia Pictures. So we just celebrated 25th anniversary at the New York Latino Film Festival because of that fact, that it was the first time a woman of color actually directed a major studio film. So she was way ahead of the curve. It was 25 years ago. And I was a part of that. So again, to have the frame of mind to say, I just played a Chicano artist, gang member. I just played a guy who's from the pen. Now I'm going to play a Puerto Rican transvestite with a family in the Bronx. And I did it back to back because I wanted to show people.
That's crazy.
I wanted to show people my range, but none of those films came out that year. They all were delayed. They all had issues coming out. So nobody kind of got to see what I was trying to do. And not only that, but if you look at those films, I look completely different in everything I do.
So name a list of all the the movies, the movies that you have done, and then the TV series that you have done, so the viewers can actually see what just a highlight.
When you're
over
done
40
with that,
episodes
I
of
want to
film.
ask you, for people that are watching, because I know there's a couple people watching that are big fans of yours, but also a couple people watching that do want to look into acting, directing, stuff like that. Once you're done doing that, if you have any advice for them, maybe for something that
just
they
in case
can,
you need any help.
Get into.
Absolutely. You're hilarious.
Just in case you need any help, brother.
Well, I started on Fame, right? Did a pilot called Bronx Zoo. Let's see, what else?
Like an overview.
I've done every.
Just
I've
like
done
you did
almost
the-
every CSI.
CSI,
at least
okay.
that, yeah. Third seasons have always been good for me. So I did the third season
There you
of
go.
24.
24.
Gael Ortega, right? Third season of Dexter.
Dexter.
Ooh,
The Skinner, yeah.
The Skinner.
The original you.
And I always, it's interesting how the third season is always the Latino season. 24 was the Latino season.
Married with Children.
Dexter, Married with Children. So again, Christina Applegate was a big fan of the Fame show because she's an incredible dancer herself.
Oh, she.
I did not know
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So Christina's an incredible, jazz trained and everything. So Christina actually was a fan of the show. So, and we were friends. We'd known each other through the circle. So she reached out to me when the show took off, and she goes, "Hey, I got to dance with somebody. Will you come on the show and dance with me?" And I said, "Sure. What's the character?" And she goes, "He's a janitor." I said, "Sorry, baby, I don't play janitors in TV." She goes, No, but he's a sexy janitor, and he's got the hots with me, and we do a dance together." And I went, "That I would love. I would love to dance with you." I said, "Who's your choreographer?" She said, "Well, I don't have a choreographer." I said, "Well, let me choreograph it, and we can do it." So I actually choreographed that dance.
Oh,
with her.
nice.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was a blast working with her. That was the best part of it. She's such a beautiful lady, great actress, and a good dancer. So we had a blast.
So every
Yeah, a couple of Scooby-Doos actually. Yeah.
So everything that you've done now leading up to Phoenix, Oregon.
Yes, talk about it.
What's the we saw viewers, if you've been with us since the beginning, you're able to see the trailer. Describe the movie and this project for people to know.
Well, two buddies decide they're going to open a Bolarama pizzeria to somehow deal with their midlife crisis. And it's all about how different friends, the main guy, Bobby, played brilliantly by James LeGros. You remember James LeGros from Drugstore Cowboy? He was also recurring in Fear the Walking Dead. If you look at his credits, James LeGros, incredible actor. I'm a big fan of his work. So when I got the opportunity to play his best friend, his buddy, I was like, man, this is incredible. But the story is all about these friends who decide that they're at a dead end in their lives. He's a frustrated illustrator, he's an artist, but he just does it at home. He doesn't do anything with it. His life is kind of caught in a loop. He had a failed marriage. He doesn't have family. His mother passed away several years ago, and he's a bartender, and he's not happy. And we have kind of an a-hole boss, brilliantly played by Diedrich Bader. You know Diedrich Bader from, right now he's on a hit TV series, American Housewife.
Yes.
Okay.
But he's also from the Drew Carey Show,
Carey.
Miss Congeniality 2, what is that other one, the Beverly Hillbillies movie, the spoof remake. But Diedrich, you know, incredible comic actor himself. So he plays our boss.
Nice.
And we don't know what to do. So I come to my buddy and I tell him, hey man, I'm not gonna rest. I'm not gonna take this lying down. Come look at my dream. I've been saving up my money. If you pitch in your money, we can do this. So I take him to this abandoned building. It's a bowlerama, and I say, look, you used to be a bowling champ in high school. You handle the bowling, I'll handle the pizza. And at first he's like, what? So finally I do a taste testing at my house with my family, it shows how a Latino family really supports their family member. You know, so that's another thing. That's another thing I love about this film is that the writer, director, Gary Lundgren, really shows the Latino culture in a beautiful way, as a true, wonderful American culture. And so that was another reason that I chose to play this character, is I knew that they were really showing us in a great light. So after we have a taste test, you know, he's blown away and he goes, I get it. Now that I tasted the pizzas, we're gonna go for it. So we pool our money, and the rest of it is a comedic take on how we try to bring this bowling alley back to life.
So again, when is it? Again, it airs or comes on the movie.
So
theaters
March
this week?
20th is our premiere. This coming
March 20th.
March, which is this Friday, right?
Okay.
Right.
This weekend. But with everything that's going on, because we're independent, we're creating a view at home option.
What's the website?
So it's PhoenixOregonMovie.com.
There we go.
But also wherever you're at, if we've been promoting it through a specific theater chain, because there's over 20 theaters chains around the country that are supporting us. If you go to those theater chains, like here in the Texas San Antonio area, it's Santikos.
Right.
So if you go to Santikos.com and order your ticket online, like you're going to the theater, then the view at home option will be available to you.
That's awesome.
Is Phoenix, Oregon really a place?
There is a Phoenix, Oregon. Yeah.
Okay,
Even people from Portland, when we were showing, because you know we had our first screenings at the Ashland Independent Film Festival,
Okay.
and in Portland, Oregon. But a lot of people from Portland didn't even know there was a Phoenix,
Never
Oregon.
heard of it.
But there is. We actually shot a lot of it because the bowling alley, we couldn't find one that would allow us to shut it down for a couple of weeks in Phoenix. So we wound up shooting a lot of it in Klamath Falls. So big shout out
There you go.
to Barry's Bowling Alley out in
Nice.
Klamath Falls, who
Klamath
allowed us to
Falls.
man, and it's such a beautiful retro bowling alley. He keeps it in great shape.
Shout out
there
one
in
more time.
Klamath
What was the
Falls.
name?
Yeah, Barry's Bowling Alley out
Barry's
there.
Bowling.
Out
Bowling.
there.
Barry,
Yeah, man, out in Klamath Falls. It's a wonderful, beautiful place, and they took care. Barry took care of us out there. He's the owner.
Nice.
They allowed us to shoot there, and I mean it was.
I'll be definitely watching it this weekend.
So about
for
this
sure.
pizza.
The pizza.
Can you really make this good pizza in like real
Well,
life, or is this
it's
just a
kind
movie?
of like painting.
I know you love your pizza,
I
and
told
I
you
want
that-
some pizza.
I eat
I
pizza
told you that
every
I didn't
Sunday.
do the paintings. I told you that I didn't do the paintings for Blood In, Blood Out,
Or
right?
veggie pizza.
Because I really don't. I don't paint. I don't even draw stick figures. And
I
we
do.
laugh
But
a lot
cooking-
because
but
when they
cooking's
took
different.
when they took Damien Miklo to
Meatloaf.
Damien Chapa, when they took Damien to San Quentin to film because they really filmed in San Quentin. Yeah, they were in the real prison.
Yeah,
so
for real.
a lot of the extras in those prison scenes are actual prisoners.
Wow.
So they used a lot. Big shout out to all the homies from San Quentin.
All the
But
homies.
and the
There you go.
actors,
Let them be on
whenever
TV
you
and
if
shit around
ever
the
you
movie.
get a chance to interview any of the actors from Blood In, Blood Out who were in the prison scenes, talk to them about the prison sequences because it was pretty tough for them. You know, they were on lockdown. They had to go through security every day. And after 2 months there, it was pretty intense. There was a couple of, you know, it's a real maximum security prison.
Yeah.
Real shit
there
going
was
down.
the real shit going down. But when they went to prison, they were there for 2 months. So since my character don't go to jail, I came back to San Antonio from LA and I sat in Adan's studio for 2 months and watched him paint all the paintings from Blood In, Blood Out.
Nice.
So as an actor, to study what what you're going to be doing.
So you studied the cooking.
Oh my God!
You studied
so I
the
did the same
cooking.
thing. Studied the cooking. The director Gary Lundgren sent me a bunch of YouTube videos.
Hell yeah!
And
So
the
he's
Napolitan and the Neapolitan Napolitan style.
Our next one's gonna be you
And
cooking.
making pizza.
Yeah,
The
some
style
pizza.
of spreading the dough, is a very particular way you flip your wrist to spread the dough, right? Man, and it was tough. So I kept watching these videos. I kept going, oh my God, I'm freaking out here, I'm freaking out. So when I was flying over there, I kept thinking to myself, man, how am I going to do? I'm really worried. And then I thought to myself, wait a minute. It's just like Blood In, Blood Out. You don't have to learn how to make pizza. You just have to look like you know
how to make it.
And so at that point I said,
You gotta fake it till you make it, baby.
I said, wait a minute. Exactly.
Make it till you make it.
At that point, I went, wait a minute, I got a college degree in this. So when I got to the set, I told the director, look, I'm just a little stressed about this because it's so specific.
Right.
He goes, no, we're not going to be showing the exact technique.
Yeah, I feel like
we just need to make it,
in the movie, like,
so once we started working with the dough, and I had seen the way they kneed the dough, and I had the spread a little bit.
But it's
then
part of
I
the
saw-
art that you want to make sure that you look like
illusion,
you,
baby.
illusion.
That's what I do. Illusion. So once I figured all that out and we shot those sequences, the director came back to me and he goes, dude, it's golden. It looks like you know what you're doing.
it looks like it tastes good, but it probably doesn't.
Exactly.
Is what you're saying. Basically, is what you're saying. You got it.
So at that point, everybody who watched it would sit there and go, oh my God, can you make me a pizza? And I went, I don't think you want any of my movie pizza. The same way as you probably wouldn't want to.
You know what I'm saying? Keep it
You
real
know,
though.
I
Keep
can't
it
really
real
make
though.
no masterpieces,
Yeah, he makes
And it was
shit.
hilarious because at one point, Adan was like, when I was watching the study, he kept going, look, go ahead, paint. And I said, no, man, these are masterpieces. I'm going to ruin them. And he goes, no. When we make mistakes, we just scrape off the paint and we start over. And I went, duh, I learned something new and that's another thing about being an actor is you learn so much about what people do. Because if you're a serious actor and you love what you do, which I do, you go and you study that thing.
Right.
That's part of our technique.
So going back to Nat Boogie, when she was asking you the advice that you would give to someone that wants to get into film and acting, what would that be?
Well, if you're younger, I say higher education. If you're a lot younger, school. Look at school programs. Look at local community centers, cultural centers.
You're any locally in San Antonio that you would recommend?
In the West Side, you have the Guadalupe Cultural Arts Center. They have a group there called Grupo Animo, which is a youth theater program. You've got the Say See program, which is, again, a nonprofit art, and they teach not only the visual arts, but the performing arts. If you're getting into the high schools, a lot of the high schools have programs. There's a program called Data that my friend Mario Falcon runs out of one of the high schools in the north side. You've got NISA. You've got NAYA, Network for Young Artists. These are a lot of programs that are either affiliated with one of the cultural centers. You've got the Carver Cultural Center on the east side. There's a lot of these programs. You've got the Children's Magic Theater. They do summer workshops and programs, and then when you get into college, you've got great programs. You've got Northwest Vista has a great theater program.
There you go, Northwest Vista.
Over there with Melissa Marlowe. You've got my brother's film program that he started at SAC. So you've got, if you don't know yet what's going on, to explore it, he does a screenwriting and a lab production class. But you gotta look around. San Antonio Film Commission is a good resource. Like I said, the college programs, looking into where you'd like to go. UT has the film program, but a lot of times it's very hard to get there unless you've got the grades or unless you've got the money.
So education for younger ones that you would definitely...
Education, yeah. And then at some point, at that point, you start to find out what's it going to take to become a professional. At some point, to become a professional, you're going to have to join the AFTRA-SAG union, which is the American Federation of Television and Radio Artists.
Oh, wow.
Screen Actors
I didn't
Guild.
know they even had that.
SAG, yeah, Screen Actors
Did you know
Guild.
that? You?
So that's
I didn't know
that's
that.
union.
Okay.
Yeah, and you need to be part of the union in order to audition
So
for
as
the
an
big jobs.
upcoming actor or actress, would you recommend taking any role in every role, or do you say you still can be kind of like, should I pick this role, pick that role, you know?
Yeah, I think it's a personal choice. I mean, it was my personal choice, and I've been lucky enough to be able to play Latino characters that I'm proud of. But you know, there's a few episodes of you know, some drug dealer chiefs out there, and some, you know, projects that I'm like, well, you know, I had to do it to pay the bills, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I've been lucky, but there's a few out there, and there's actors, good friends of mine, incredible, talented actors who've had to make a living out of playing those stereotypical characters. But you know what? They get health benefits out of it. They're able to send their kids to college out of it. They're able to keep
That's nice.
health insurance for their families, which is important. That's something you get from being a union actor. And they're able to make a living and survive. So to me, if you're making a living, you can't really be that picky at that point. If you're lucky enough, like I am, to have made those choices. But you know, every year, every job is a different choice. You know, like I said, I'm 57 and I've had a 35 plus career as a professional.
Nice.
So, you know, those are the choices that I make. So if I'm not working a lot, that's a choice that I make because I'm looking back at my career and going quality, not quantity.
Exactly.
And I want to be able to say, I was able to do it my way. You know, I did it my way. a mi manera, you know. And so if I can say that more times than not, then I'm okay, you know. Case in point, there's that third season of Fear the Walking Dead that I did.
Yeah.
Well, I remember that several months earlier they had offered me the heavy, right? And I looked at it and I saw the heavy, and he was, even though he was he was the president of the municipal area. He was the municipal governor, right? But he was a heinous character. He was shooting people, calling hits, throwing people off the
stuff.
And I said, this ain't a character that does anything for me. So even though I needed the paycheck, I said no, right? Oh my God, you know, my management is going, what are you doing? What's going on? I'm looking at the first of the month going, what am I thinking? But I let it go and I forgot about it, right? Several months later, I get an audition for this character that I tell you about that's probably considered one of the most compassionate characters in the Walking Dead zombie world. Ephraim, the water bearer. And this guy, not only is he a compassionate, incredible, beautiful character that I can put all my... But in the zombie world, they love him so much that he winds up getting written into 6 more episodes.
There you go.
And so I'm like, hey, well, I got another... The other guy got killed after 2 or 3 episodes.
Damn, man.
So I actually got... By sticking, so it never works out that way. You know, that was an anomaly. But to think to myself, I said, man, I stuck by my guns, and now look at this. I got an extra 3 paychecks out of it. That was just the capper.
Exactly.
Because the real thing was playing this really cool character that I could be proud of and tell people, hey, watch this guy. And like I told you guys earlier, we made American television history by being the first episode ever in an American television series, primetime, that was ever completely in Spanish. And that was being proud of my culture, being proud of who I was. And, you know, by holding out, I've been lucky to do these things. Phoenix, Oregon, same thing. Holding out, not saying there's really nothing going on that I want to be a part of. I mean, I'd love to play a great character in some of these nautical series, but a lot of times I don't get those auditions.
That's right.
I get the back end where it's a heinous this or a day player that. And so a lot of times I'm having to say no. So along comes Phoenix, Oregon, and again, Benjamin Bratt's relationship. I did 2 independent films with him and his brother, Peter Bratt. Peter Bratt directed the documentary on Dolores Huerta, Cesar Chavez's right hand, Dolores. So if you get a chance, check out the documentary Dolores. That's Peter Bratt. He also directed that one I told you about called La Misión.
Yes,
that's Peter Bratt. So Peter, good friend of mine, we did another film together right after Blood In, Blood Out called Follow Me Home. Never came out, but it was a brilliant film, right? It was a hit at the '95 Sundance Festival, but it was way ahead of the curve. It was about four artists of color that decide they're going to jump in the van, drive across the country to the White House, and paint a multicultural mural on the White House.
I would love to see that happen in real life.
Yeah, follow me home. We'll bust it out someday in the streaming world. So I had done an independent with Peter, and we were both fans of each other's work. So when Gary, who's a good friend of Peter Bratt, asked him about who would want to be in this film, Peter goes, "You got to call Jesse. These are the characters he's looking for." So when he called me, I'm over here in San Antonio, unemployed, doing my thing, and I get this call. So I get sent the script, and I'm like, hell yeah! Are you kidding me? And so at that point, when I went to Oregon and I met, Oregon really supports, the Oregon Film Office really supports their filmmakers.
Nice.
So I got together with Gary and Annie Lundgren's team, and man, these people, Patrick Neri, the director of photography, all the film crew, they just so back each other up. And I said, man, this is what I want to bring to San Antonio. This is what I want to bring. So I work with them. I do this incredible film, work with James LeGros, and now Lisa Edelstein. You remember she was in House. Yes. She was House's partner in the House series. But she also had that great series, Girlfriend's Guide to Divorce on Netflix. Lisa Edelstein, good friend of James LeGros, she shows up to play his love interest. So now I'm like, oh my God, we got a great cast. Now our boss is Diedrich Bader. And he comes in, and in 2-3 days, he kills it. And I'm like, okay, we got a little movie here.
Okay.
So now we're waiting on Al, the bowling alley guy, who's going to come in and give us all kinds of shit, right? And it's like, man, we got a great cast, but if we get a mediocre actor, then this movie's not going to go. And we get Kevin Corrigan, Goodfellas, all these credits to Kevin Corrigan. He's an incredible actor from New York. And he comes in, and I'm like, something just happened. And so I knew at that point that we had something. So I told the director, I go, look, you don't know this because right now you're busy producing this. When this is over, you're going to sit down with this movie. You're going to see what you have here, this star quality, these performances. You're going to put it together, and you're going to make a little incredible movie for this independent thing you did. Sure enough, 6 months later, he said, oh my God, I think you're right. I said, so here's what I can do for you. I go, I have my San Antonio audience. They never get to see these films because we're outside. It always goes to Austin, right?
Right.
I had my good friend Don Cheadle made an incredible film about Miles Davis called Miles Ahead.
Yes.
Right? But it went kind of independent in its release. It was at Austin in South by Southwest. I told him I have a viewing audience that needs art films like this in San Antonio. Couldn't even get that film here. So to me, I was like, man, how do we're considered a backwater here, and I want to change that perception. There is a sophisticated audience here. And so when this film was getting ready to come out, I said, look, let's get it here. Let's get it to the Latino Film Festival here, Cine Festival. Even though it's not specifically a Latino film, it exemplifies the Latino culture. You're making us look beautiful. And Carlos, the chef, is a great character. It came here, and the audience in the West Side, my core audience, loved the film. Nice. And I said, there you go. Now when you get ready to distribute, let's talk to Santikos. Yeah. Let's talk to the local theater chains. Let's get it here. And so all of that has come full circle 2 years later. And so I'm proud of this character. I'm proud of this film. And again, it's just going to continue to help me in my argument that we can do that out of San Antonio. These young people that my brother's training at SAC, that Melissa's training at Northwest Vista, that are coming out of these high schools, they want to tell their own stories. Sure. My brother teaches these screenplay classes, and when you look at these stories, it's all about who they are. And that's one of the things that I teach in my acting classes. I teach what's called the cultural narrative. And everybody goes, what is that? I go, well, what's your cultural narrative? It's who you are. It's your history, where you come from. It doesn't matter what culture you are. You have a very specific experience. That's your story. Those are the stories you need to develop as a filmmaker. It doesn't matter if it's a horror genre, if it's a Western genre, if it's an urban genre. the stories are still going to come from you. You're not going to knock off what's already been done. That's how you're going to set yourself apart as an actor, as a filmmaker, as a writer, as a producer. And that's what I've tried to do with my career. And so that's what I try to teach. And it also gives me something different than what everybody else is teaching. Because I teach the same techniques. You know, I studied, you know, link letter voice technique. I studied, you know, Uta Hagen. I studied the method. I studied Stanislavski, you know. I know all of that. I was, you know, I'm college educated in this. Nice. But to me, all of that means nothing if you're not true to who you are, and if the story is the same story. I always tell, you know, these young artists when I'm teaching them, I go, great, you've got the talent. Now what are you going to do with it?
Gotta use it.
And they always look at me like, huh? I go, look, if you don't have an answer, how about make the world a better place? How about just that? How about just, and then they go, well, how do I do that with acting? How do I do that with filmmaking? I'm like, duh, come on. What you guys are doing right here, that's what you're doing. You're making the world a better place.
And it's great to have you as a guest, you know, it really is. And, you know, all the viewers that are watching, again, we appreciate it. You know, there's a lot of people watching, a lot of people commenting.
Please,
yeah, they're showing you love and everything. Again, this weekend, Phoenix, Oregon, it's coming out. Go to Santicos.com.
Santicos.com or PhoenixOregonMovie.com.
Do you know if there's any social media for the movie, or do you want to give out your personal social media as well?
Facebook. Go to Phoenix, Oregon on Facebook, and you really kind of want to do that because wherever you're watching this from, you want to look at those theaters near you so you can see which ones are giving you that view at home option. But either way, we're sharing that revenue. So you guys will be supporting these theaters that have supported us and quite probably are all going to be closed this weekend. That's where we're kind of all headed. So err on the side of caution, but also, you know, a lot of people are talking about, I guess I'm going to be staying in. Anybody have movie suggestions? You're going to be staying in. So there's going to be a lot of people entertaining themselves at home. So this is kind of perfect. And again, we were able, being an indie, that's what's beautiful about this because we were talking about that Universal now is talking about streaming all this view at home stuff, but we were 3 days ahead of them because we knew this was going to happen. So we were already developing that view at home option because we could move that fast as an indie. And we thought to ourselves, what's going to happen? It's like, look, we don't feel ethically right to be asking people, continue to asking people to come to the movies, especially because we don't know what's going on. And at that time, a lot of our theater chains were shutting down. So at that point, you know, we talked about, hey, let's create this view at home option so people have that choice.
That's a great option.
It wound up becoming the thing.
No, that's smart. Everyone's going to be staying from home. I know, like I said, starting Monday, I'm working from home. Once again, guys, if you're affected by the coronavirus situation, please search Texas unemployment. There are some options for you. Bar staff, everyone, you know, that's working in the service industry. I think that option's available to you as well. And tomorrow's St. Patrick's Day, so if you're going to be out...
Ooh, happy St. Patrick's Day.
Please be safe.
Mel Finance, what's your social media?
Oh, shit. www.blessgearstore.com. Melvin Johnson on Facebook. Bless and More on Instagram. Mel Finance on Instagram.
Mine is official MikeAnthony.Torres on Instagram. Business is at All Access MA for Facebook and Instagram.
And once again, shout out to everybody that tuned in tonight. I want to give a special shout out because we had someone specifically that works at HEB. Her name is Christina Campos. She actually did say that she would see you at HEB all the time at Goliad and Southeast Military. I do want to give her a special shout out because I know working at HEB is crazy
shout
right
out,
now.
Yes.
Good job
Thank
HEB's
you for all
doing.
the work that you do. Thank
you
for everyone that has tuned in tonight. Thank you so much, Jesse, for being our special guest tonight. And I am Natalie Charlene on Facebook, Nat Boogie, no E on Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter. It is my birthday this Saturday.
Happy birthday to Miss Nat Boogie! Before we go off, count of 3, we're gonna sing happy birthday to Miss Nat Boogie. No.
She said no.
We're gonna do it anyways. 1, 2, and 3.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, Nat Boogie. Happy birthday to you.
There we go.
Peace out.
Thanks, guys. But yeah, thank you everyone that tuned in tonight and everyone that continues to tune in. We will most likely see you Monday. I can't guarantee you, but we'll most likely see you Monday. Of course, it's Late Nights with All Access with my finest, Mike Anthony, and myself. Y'all have a good night, guys. Peace.
Wash your hands to the beat of the song to make sure that you properly scrub it up, scrub it up on high. Don't get sick, but if you do, go to the doctor, they'll take care of you. Oh yeah, hygiene. Don't freak out, wash your hands. Don't freak out, wash your hands. Don't freak out, wash your hands. And now your hands are clean. Seriously, wash your damn hands.